Just a quick one before we get into this episode. If you're in the UK and you use supplements, I'd highly recommend checking out Reflex Nutrition, where they're giving up to 40% on all their range if you use the code PTRNT at checkout. I've been using Reflex for nearly a decade, with their microwave being one of my favorite whey proteins. It's grass-fed, hormone-free, and digests so well compared to most on the market. Check out their full supplement range, including all your transformation basics and plant-based alternatives on reflexnutrition.com and use the code PTRNT at checkout for up to 40% off. We've got a special episode for you this week as I'm joined by my sister, Roshni Vaghela, aka Lulu, who's come on the show to discuss her R&G journey so far. After going through a lengthy period of low confidence, feeling lethargic, and lacking direction, Roshni wanted to use the journey to reinstall her 3S's, create focus, and ultimately use the physical as the vehicle to transform her body and life. In this episode, we also go through some listener Q&As, discuss the origin of the name Lulu, and some great tips for women looking to maximize their journey. I hope you enjoy this episode, and without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so it's 2 months since the photo shoot and 2 days till your birthday. So I thought it would be the perfect time to record a podcast today. First up, how has it been since the photo shoot? How's consolidation been? What has it been like coming out on the other side?
I think, well, obviously with the consolidation, I think it was not an easy ride. People will say, oh, you finished dieting, now you can just go back to normal. But then it wasn't anything like that. It was almost like a rebound. Like you could go on a rebound, but it's coming down the mountain safely, like you say.
Yeah, so you're saying it's not like a rebound?
No, it's not. It's not going... I didn't want to make it a rebound because someone like me, I love my chocolate, my crisps and everything. And I said to myself, I can't make it like a rebound. So I climbed the top of the mountain and went down safely. I'm now 2 months exactly post-shoot and I've maintained my weight fairly well, actually, I'd say.
What is it the most? About 1.5 kilos, you said?
Yeah, 1.5 kilos I've put on since my shoot, and it's building muscle I'm now going through.
That's perfect. I mean, firstly, you're speaking the R&T lingo there. You're climbing the top of the mountain and then taking that safe passage home. What are some of the struggles of taking that safe passage home?
I think it's very, very easy to fall backwards. Because anything, you don't have that shoot in your head that, oh, I've got a shoot in this many days and all that. You've got, you find another goal. You have to find another goal that you want to work towards. And that was, for me, maintaining myself, keeping it as a lifestyle more than anything, which I have done pretty well. Like, I'm still having the same meals as I have had since my shoot. So nothing's really changed. And now it's almost like when someone asks, oh, she's still dieting? I'm like, no, it's not even a diet now. It's more of a lifestyle. And I even told Ed when I emailed him a couple of weeks ago that people still look at me like, why are you eating the same thing every day if you've finished a shoot? I said, now it's just become a habit more than anything.
Yeah, it's just limiting that decision fatigue on a day-to-day basis and implementing it with your lifestyle. I mean, the good thing is that I know your lifestyle, and you go out on a regular basis. You still haven't changed your social life, and you're managing to integrate that ultimate lifestyle solution that people we always talk about.
I think that we'll probably talk about the social side to things later on, but there was a lot of social events during the process.
I mean,
before the shoot.
Well, think about it. You did your photo shoot just after Christmas.
Just after Christmas, and then there was obviously Diwali, and then India for a week, and that was a really good test to actually go through, being in a different country and going through the diet.
So there's a couple of things there that I want to talk about. The first thing is, let's just carry on with consolidation. How did you find switching the mindset from having the photo shoot to suddenly having nothing? And what is the new goal for you right now that you're channeling your energy towards?
I think it was the changes I saw in my life that made me realise that I want to continue this lifestyle. So let's say, I don't know, the waking up process. You know that I don't get up. You never saw me get up before 5 o'clock ever.
You mean before 7 o'clock? Not 5 o'clock.
No, 7 o'clock.
You never woke up at 5 o'clock in your life?
No, I never woke up at 5 o'clock in my life, actually. And all of a sudden, towards the shoot, it was waking up before...
Oh, you woke up about 4:30,
5 o'clock, getting my steps in, then going to the gym. Because by the time I got back, there was a lack of energy. And now that's carried on, going to the gym at 5:30 now. Then walking to the gym is a new thing we've put in.
Yeah.
And taking mum and dad along with that, because we never used to walk to the gym. We used to take the car for a 2-minute drive and then park it, walk just probably about 10 steps and then come back, go in the car and drive back home. But now it's become 2 months post shoot plus another month, and we've been walking to the gym 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And walking back, which is about 20.
I mean, one thing I said to you said to me, oh, well, Ed's asked me to put the steps up to 15,000. How do I do it? And I said, what time do you wake up? And you're like, 6:45? I was like, well, there's like 3 hours in the day there that you haven't even
Then
used.
you'll never do anything after that.
You're telling the wrong person about that. I was like, I'm not going to get involved, but you just need to wake up earlier.
Yeah, and I think that's what... And then I think waking up earlier, I found that I was getting more done in the day and actually felt more focused than anything.
So you're waking up earlier and your life's changed in that respect, but you still got to know what is your goal now though? Because a lot of people struggle with this feeling of like what's next? What have you been working on? Because you've been talking about it.
So I think now it's almost maintaining this way and using it to become a social event, and even...
To become what?
To become like, be able to manage social events.
So lifestyle solutions.
Lifestyle solutions. And also, considering I'm thinking of travelling abroad and teaching abroad, it's also one thing that I'll need to incorporate in my life, how to look after myself. And managing healthy habits outside of London, of course.
What about strength, muscle? Is that on your agenda, or you?
I am actually going on my route to my first chin up. I want to do, and building and toning up the muscles. Now, obviously, I lost a lot of muscle on my glutes. Not a lot of muscles, I lost a lot of fat on my glutes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I know, a lot of fat on my glutes. And I said to Ed, I was like, I feel like I've got a flat bum, obviously. And he was like, okay, so we need to work on that. So I felt like I noticed a difference within 2 months post shoot of my glutes starting to come out when I wore a dress that I wore on the day of my shoot, and then I wore it 2 months later and my glutes have...
Yeah, you
like,
know,
it seems like it's magically appeared.
Yeah, it's always a bit weird when your sister sends you a picture and not just show you her evening or whatever, she just texts me saying, "Can you look at my glutes here?" I didn't expect that response at all. Just like an empty message with her and her friends saying, "Look at my glutes."
Yeah, and then it was a bit like being a bit vain of.
Well, no, it's good. I mean, you got to shift up that mindset. A lot of women struggle with dealing with the mindset of building muscle. So how are you approaching the idea of building muscle?
Well, I think it was the day of the shoot when those arms just appeared and I didn't know I had them. But I think building muscle, it doesn't mean you're necessarily, like how men are muscular. But then with women, you look toned when you've got muscles. You look, I think, better in outfits, I think.
100%.
100%. Like, even if I wear Indian outfit now, I think I guarantee I'll feel better wearing it rather than feeling like a pig.
I mean, it's such an important message that I think the more women who can embrace the idea of muscle, it's exactly that. They're going to feel better, they're going to look better in clothes, and getting that shape can only come from muscle. And when you hear about being toned is actually just more muscle and less body fat. So I really like the fact that you've differentiated that.
Yeah, because it's not just, it doesn't make you look like a man.
No.
And I think some women get that in their head that, I'm going to look like a man if I build muscles.
Yeah.
But then you don't, because those arms, that arm picture we had, like, people might look at it going, you look like a man. But then,
Well,
to be
not at
honest,
all.
no, but like, you know, if anyone would say that, they might say you look like a man. But then you would be like, but it's just muscle and you've just toned up more than
Yeah.
anything. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything manly about that picture at all. It just shows the shape and and what most women want is to be toned.
yeah, 100%.
So let's go back to the summer of 2019 and discuss your initial why and maybe potentially your initial trigger. Like, what was the trigger to start this journey, and then why was it so important for you?
I think it's when I wore a dress and I looked at myself in the mirror and thought, this dress doesn't look right at all. And then it just made me look, I felt really blown up type thing. And I think I just felt like I had to wear it. It was a hot summer's day. It was the hottest day almost, I think, last summer. And I was just feeling really hot. And then on top of that, I felt fat. So I just had to get rid of that dress. And I don't even have it in my cupboard anymore that I can go back and actually try it on.
Oh, really? You got rid of it?
I got rid of it completely. I think I looked at it and I was like, this can't be in my cupboard anymore. And then it also triggered when I went to Leicester and I got told I look short and fat. And,
explain a bit more.
And I said...
Yeah, by who? And
I said, who? I said, what? And then my daddy goes, oh, you look short and fat.
okay, just for the listeners, she's not saying it properly, but our grandma in Leicester is she can't speak the English that well, and she has very, very blunt personality, and she just said it in very. I think she said it in Gujarati.
She said it in Gujarati.
Said it in Gujarati. Go on.
She goes, oh, tu moti thai gayi.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I think I was on the verge of crying. I looked at, because I was with Atish and Anish, I looked at them and I said, I think she just called me short and fat. And she goes, oh, like, batki thai gayi. So I was like, oh God. And then it was just literally like, I think I looked at myself and I think I just went away and had a little cry, like, I felt like crying. But I didn't obviously cry because I think for the elders, they're more blunt with what they say.
Yeah, she's definitely being blunt, and she didn't mean it in
she didn't mean it in a nasty way or anything. I think she did because she hadn't seen me for such a long time, and then just thought, oh look, I look a bit different.
Well, I think also she's just very matter of fact, just very black and white, and that's probably where I get my black and whiteness from.
Yeah, probably because it's just literally you just say things how they are to me. Like the graduation dress was the third milestone. You looked at it and you're just like, don't wear it again until you've done something about it. And I think it was also like the trigger of, as I was wearing clothes, I just couldn't wear them. Jeans, I couldn't wear my favourite pair of jeans just didn't fit me anymore. And I was starting to go to work wearing leggings with a long top, just to cover, and baggy clothes. And then when people looked at me going, why are you dieting? You look fine. I said I was covering it up with baggy clothes. That's what I was doing. When I went to the Style and Smile all the time. Style and Smile is where I go for where I go to get my beauty things done. And they went, oh, you don't need to diet. They're like, what are you talking about? And I said, just wait and see why I've done it.
Yeah. And
the reason why I've done it is because I just don't feel, I've got a lack of confidence in myself. I can't wear clothes. I just feel like I have to just walk around in tracksuit bottoms and baggy clothes because nothing looks right. No fitted, none of majority of my wardrobe I couldn't wear effectively. And I think now I look back at my wardrobe, I was like, oh, I can wear this. I can wear that. I can wear my graduation dress maybe with a book launch, or you'd now think ahead where you can use these clothes. But I think it's the lack of confidence I had in myself that triggered it a lot more than anything. And that I think spiraled from, I started binge eating a lot after May.
Why was that?
I think it was, I didn't know where I was going in terms of my career. I didn't know what I wanted to do next. And I felt quite lost in direction in what I wanted to do. So I think I started almost spiraling down and just resorted in eating food. And I think I put on a good 3-4 kg, let's say.
Yeah.
In the from May till about September. And then that's when it hit that I need to do something about this because I don't look right at all. And this is not me.
Yeah.
And I've never been that. I don't think, like, some people may say that's not fat, but I thought it was fat.
Yeah.
You know, matter of fact, I felt like I was a blown up.
Yeah, so essentially
balloon.
the muck was coming from, the internal muck was coming from lack of direction, not feeling fulfilled in your career, and all these different causes. And then the trigger was the dress, and then her grandma making a very black and white comment. And then what was and then the why was essentially to rebuild your confidence.
Yeah, rebuilding my confidence. So back in September 2018, I was in and out of hospital for a good 3 months, from September to December. We didn't know why, we didn't know what was going on, and it was on and off UTIs going, and I was on about four cycles of antibiotics to try and get rid of whatever was going on. And it was not until I went for a scan and they said, you've got 7 kidney stones in your body. And I said, in your kidneys? I said, and there's 1 in your bladder. And I said, how did this happen? They said they were obviously investigating and everything. And the amount of procedures just going through trying to get rid of it was a lack of confidence in myself. And I think also the weight gain also started from there when I couldn't go to the gym because I couldn't exercise. I couldn't move some days. I was in a lot of pain. So I think that's when also a trigger of putting on weight had started as well. And it was found that I had a kidney stone blocking my one of the urethra tubes, and I had to get surgery done on it. When I found out, I didn't know what was going on. I said, at the age of 23, and I've got kidney stones. That doesn't sound normal. And back in those days, I didn't drink enough water either. And then when I obviously started with Ed, he turned around and said to me, you're going to have 3 litres a day. And I said, how am I going to have 3 litres a day? He goes, you will manage, just, build it up slowly. And I'm due for another scan in about 2 months' time to see whether it's gone or not. But when I went last year, I was down to 2 kidney stones. Now, hopefully, let's see what happens now for the next scan and see whether it's actually gone or not. But that's what I lacked a lot of confidence when I was in and out of hospital. I thought, what if I never, I'm just eating and I'm just sitting on the sofa.
Yeah.
And I know what you're like when I sit on the sofa.
Yeah.
You don't quite like it, do you? You're like, don't you want to go out, do something? No, I just used to sit on the sofa, curled up.
I mean, the biggest thing I've seen in you in the last 6 months is just exactly that, the change in your day-to-day mindset. And exactly that, you've gone from someone who, used to sleep in till God knows whatever.
I used to just, I wasn't even probably sleeping. I was probably just on my phone.
Yeah, just on your phone and wouldn't move throughout the day, just sit on the sofa. And now you're more active than me. And it's amazing to see that, and just also the confidence that you now have. I mean, I've seen you do some stuff in the last few months I never thought you'd do. And I think,
what?
Well, making decisions in your career that I never think you'd do, and being bold in aspects that previously you may have shied away from. So I think it's been a huge change, and I think now what would be good to discuss is what was the process actually like, and talk about the early stages of cleaning the palate. Some of potentially the biggest learnings from cleaning the palate was one I obviously know of that I've included in the book actually, and then the lead up to the shoot. So let's start with the early stages of CTP.
So it was the day when I received my plan. I looked at it and I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And one of the meals when I looked at it was yogurt and blueberries. And I was like, how am I going to have yogurt and blueberries every day for the next God knows how long? And I remember speaking to Ed. I said, I'm finding it really sour, bitter. And he goes, try putting protein powder in it. And at that time we had vanilla ice cream protein powder. I added that in. I was like, okay, I can do this now. It tastes better. It tastes sweet. It tastes like ice cream to me. So when I did the cleansing the palate, I started off with yogurt as my first meal. Then I had rice cakes with cream cheese, and then chicken and veg and rice. And then I don't know, I can't remember my fourth meal.
Salmon.
No, fourth meal was something else.
But I remember
having salmon. Salmon I lasted 2 days with. And I was like, I can't do this. I turned to Ed going, right, we need to change the salmon. I don't like fish. I've just realised I don't like fish that much. I can have it once in a while, but not for 2 weeks. So we changed it to one veg option and one meat option. So I changed to either paneer or tofu. It was one or the other. And I managed to, and I think after I made that change, I was able to get through that getting through that 2 weeks felt really quick after. I was able to I never used to cook my own meals. That was the other thing. I used to just do whatever mum made, or I used to just have for dinner whatever was made. And I started making my own meals. And I realised this isn't that bad. I saved more time in the morning because I used to meal, and then I got told about meal prepping. So I used to batch cook on Sunday and Wednesdays. So
was this whole process quite easy for you at the beginning? Because it sounds like it was smooth. Did you feel overwhelmed? Did you feel, was it easy?
Because on the first day, I was walking. We went for a walk to try to get the steps in the evening, and I was with mum and dad. And all of a sudden, I just started crying. And they're like, why are you crying? Are you crying because I basically rewind back to the day at work. So I'm a teacher, and I got told I'm going to have an extra child in the class. So I was going to have 31 children without any help. And then I was like, okay. I basically had no choice whether to accept it or not. Yeah. And I came home, and then I started going for a walk. And then Dad goes, are you crying because you're overwhelmed by the amount of food you've got to eat? Because I think the first few days I could not finish the food. I had to just it was almost force feeding myself to finish it off. Or are you crying because you've got 31 children in your class? And I said, I don't know what I feel. And back then, I think I wasn't really aware of my emotions either. And I didn't know what I was feeling. And I just used to resort in crying.
Yeah, that's one thing we don't see much now.
No, they don't see it much unless I'm really upset about something. But they don't really see it that much. And I just burst into tears walking down the street. And I just think, I don't know, I'm overwhelmed by this whole thing. And it's only day one.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I'm crying at day one, what will I be like in day 2, 3, up to 14 days? And then the next day I felt a bit better. And I think when the salmon got taken out, I was like, okay, now I feel much better. And it was, I think, towards the mid of actually the cleansing the palate phase, I felt it was more achievable to complete this phase. And I think there was less decision fatigue. And I think I wasted less time thinking about what food am I going to eat in the morning. I remember the night before I even started RNT, was when Mummy used to come up to me going, what do you want to have for lunch tomorrow? I said, I have no idea. What is there? So it just used to be pasta salad mostly, because I used to love pasta. And then I used to only put a little bit of salad. So I've never eaten that much veggie in my life that I have in the last 7 months.
Yeah.
And I think it wasn't a smooth ride. I think that cleansing the palate. I think it was more.
I remember you being really overwhelmed.
I was overwhelmed. I just think I couldn't finish the food as well. Yeah. I found it a lot of food, and some of you in the RNT fam probably find that when you started, you feel like, how am I finishing all this food? Why? I swear, dieting, you don't eat this much food, but it's all just you realise how much you value the food when you get.
Well, there's a couple things there. Firstly, that with the food thing, most people aren't used to eating such nutrient-dense food, and most nutrient-dense food is very voluminous. So a lot of veggies can really fill you up. So at the beginning, it can feel like a lot of food, when in reality, it's less calories than you're normally used to. And when people say, I can't finish the food, my response is always, enjoy it. Enjoy this food.
While it lasts.
Because deep into the grind and the process phase, you're going to wish you had more food. So that's the first thing. And the second thing I think is really important for people to take away from this is that if a certain food isn't working for you, like salmon, for example, in your case, tell your coach. Your coach will help you. And if you just stay in silence and then say after, it doesn't work for me because I don't like these foods. Well, how are we supposed to know, right?
I think I made the best decision by being really open with Ed.
Yeah.
From the start. With anything I did. Even if I had, if I didn't complete something or if I didn't like something, I told him straight away. And with Ed, he was really like, okay, let's see what we could do. What do you like eating then? Let's go back to what you like eating that we can incorporate in. And I said, if it's either paneer or tofu, I don't mind. And he was very much, I think, let's just say in every phase that I've been to from the beginning, I think Ed's just been there as, it's almost like being able to talk, let everything out.
Yeah.
And if something I don't like, I'll just say it. I don't like it.
I think you found the check-in process quite therapeutic, right?
Therapeutic. I found it like I was talking to a therapist. And it was very much like, even now, I find it really therapeutic. I find it's my time to reflect on the week. And so that's something I never used to do. Reflect on myself, reflect on my emotions, how I felt the week went. And I think that's something I've learned how to do. And I think it's also, I've always said to him that if I can't do something, how can I go about it? If I'm struggling with something, I used to tell him. And I think if you don't tell your coach, they won't be able to help you. They'll think you're fine and you're getting on with it. But if you don't tell them, they won't know, and then you won't be able to get the beneficial out of the results almost.
100%. It's all in communication and being able to communicate to your coach exactly how you're feeling. In fact, the best bit you mentioned earlier about decision fatigue, I remember distinctly I was writing the book. I was in the first draft of the book, and I was writing actually the second chapter, which is about cleaning the palate. And I was talking about one of the CTP accelerators, which is managing decision fatigue. And I think he just ran into the room and said, like, I feel so free. And so, I feel so free that I don't have to worry about my food. And I was like, that's a great quote. And then the next day I was like, I'm gonna add that quote in. And then I wrote it in, and you got featured in the book from that.
I know, I got my feature.
Yeah,
I asked him, I was like, am I getting my feature?
You only literally just started and you got a feature in the book just from preferential treatment.
Free.
Saying you're free. It's called the case study. Roshni sets herself free. And I think he says something like, I'll read it out here. I feel great and I'm beaming with energy. More than that, I'm in control. Why don't you read it actually?
So I feel great and I'm beaming with energy. More than that, I'm in control. Having a clear structure in my day has been a game changer. I also love that I don't have any decisions to make in the day. I thought I'd hate the idea of being samey, but it's freed my mind and I no longer feel trapped by constant overwhelm.
CTP.
The CTP has given me the reboot to the system that I was craving, a focus in my day, and I'm ready to push on.
Yeah, you said something along those lines that day, and I was like...
Because usually when I run into the room, you're like, what do you want? And I'm like,
that's because I'm writing. When I'm deep in writing and I'm in flow state, I don't want to be disturbed.
And sometimes I just stand by the window of the door, just looking in, and you're like, what do you want?
This time you came with a quote for me, and I was like, this is what I want more regularly.
I think I came in with some...
I also like the way you read that out. Very, very teacher-like. Read it out like a teacher.
Yeah, oh God.
But brilliant. Okay, so you've started the process, and then how did you find? I want to dig into more of the accountability elements, but how did you find the process and the nitty-gritty last few weeks before your first checkpoint?
So my first checkpoint was the shoot.
Yeah, the shoot.
Right. Okay. It was end of December, 30th of December. We were in Leicester, and I got the email from Ed. I looked at it. I found it hard. I looked at it, and I think every day I was just like, see, you think you'd be beaming with energy, but I was just like, I'm really, really like, I'm hungry. I'm really hungry and everything. And he goes, you can do it. You've only got this many days. It was, I think, 14 days left or 21 days. It was, I think, 3 weeks left till shoot. And he goes, keep going, you can do it. And I think towards the end, I think because I got more of a routine going with waking up earlier, which made a big difference.
Yeah.
But from the start of the process phase to the end of the process phase.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you. There's a few things I want you to touch on. You went to India for a week, for a wedding. You had Christmas, New Year's Eve, staff parties, Christmas plays, all these things that you have as a teacher, all these socials around Christmas time. Let's talk about that, because that is, for me, I mean, the last 3 weeks, that's the easy bit, because you're already, Christmas and all that's gone. What about all the other stuff?
I think, so from the beginning of my process phase, when the fat loss actually started, the first test was Diwali.
Yeah.
Or let's say half term, being at home and doing this. Because when I'm at work, at school, everything's a routine. What time I eat, lunch times, break times, everything. And when I was on half term, my first half term, and it was almost like I was worried I was going to drop at this point. But I was really surprised that I stuck through it and I did the same, the meal prep, and just got on with it. I prepped my meals before on the Sunday and then just acted as if I was going to work with the meals. And I think the next test was Diwali. And I think I did my first fast, or what do you call it, buffering. And I think I fasted for 21 hours almost that day. And because the clocks went back, so everything, and I was just like, I looked at the food, and I thought I was going to pig out almost. But then having you around as well is almost like someone spying on you, watching you. And then I remember sending the menu over to Ed. He goes, this, this, this. And I realised that, okay, the food was like really nice and everything, but I almost missed my normal food that you get.
So you got some quick wins. Yeah.
So I got my little dose of Indian food, and then I went back to normal straight away. Like the next day was all normal, no more buffering, and just carried on. And as the weeks progressed, like as the weeks went by, I went to India for a week for a wedding, and it was more trying to see, walking around there and everything was easy to do, getting the steps in, because we walked everywhere instead of taking a cab, because the Mumbai traffic is just crazy. So walking everywhere, dieting, and I managed to just, my food, where I introduced eggs into my diet then, and I found it so much easier because eggs just kept me going until lunchtime or even the evening, that I didn't need to eat so much. And I think I put on 0.1 grams from the week that I was away, so I didn't really put on much at all. So, and I think being a teacher as well, there's a lot of staff parties that you go to and a lot of class parties. And I remember the class party, usually we have a class party.
What does that mean?
So, oh God, I remember sending a picture to Ed, and he goes, hold strong to me. And it's a picture of crisps, donuts, popcorn and everything. We have it at the end of term.
Yeah.
And all these children bring the pizzas, the sandwiches,
so the children, parents,
just
everything.
junk. Usually, I would indulge in that. I didn't have a single part of it that I didn't even feel like I wanted it. And I think that's also just the...
it's confidence building.
Confidence building, and even being strong.
Yeah, that comes from confidence.
Just not giving in. Because I was like, I've got this many weeks till my shoot, and I've got to get the results as well. And I also did then there was staff parties, so there's a lot of like quite heavy drinking, you know, with the...
Yeah.
And then Ed said, stick to the gin and tonics, avoid the shots, which was manageable. The one shot, obviously, you had get given. And then I think it was just very much having confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
That you've done this for yourself. You've got to think about your why you did it. Has to come in every time you enter these social events, I think.
Did you face any social stigmas? Like, did you face any criticism from anyone? Or how did you deal with that?
I remember, like, you know, feeling like sometimes left out if I didn't drink or eat it out. I think that was towards the end more than anything.
Interesting.
Not towards the end, but I think I didn't feel it because I think when we used to go out, I used to sometimes suggest, you know, let's go do something instead of sitting in a restaurant or sitting in a pub. And I think we started doing a lot more activities as with my friends as well. So I remember we went to golf. We went to golf quite a few times. And
did you feel any pressure though, or is it just
no,
support?
I think it's more, I think my work, because I mentioned to Ed that my work friends really actually supported me because we go out every Friday and I got a lot of support from them as well.
Yeah.
Because they knew I was going through this. I told like my really close friends from work that I'm doing this, and they were really supportive, and they didn't mind going to Nando's almost each week if we went out to eat.
Yeah.
And or you know, they didn't mind doing activities. I think they preferred it. It was like a breath of fresh air for them.
Okay, so I mean, telling your friends and telling your social support is always a key part of this process, and I think most people who face social stigmas just haven't explained their why and explain why it's so important to them. So I think anyone on the journey, it's very important that you're always telling your group around you what you're doing. What I want to ask you now is, what was it? Did you feel like you had? Did it feel like having me around created more accountability? Did you care? Like, what was did it make any difference that I was around or have been around in this process?
I think it's because when you came to me, we were like, why didn't you try doing a 12-week? Initially it started as 12 weeks. And I remember coming to you going, I think I want to do 12 weeks. But I think having you around was some sort of accountability because, like I said before, it's like a little spy watching me.
Yeah.
But I remember very clearly not coming to you and going straight to my coach.
I told you not
but
to.
then you said to me, don't get me involved in this. Go to your coach with everything.
For the listeners, I said at the beginning, first off, I'm not going to coach you because that never works.
We'll probably fall out by the end of it, guaranteed.
And the second thing is I don't want to hear anything. So leave it between you and your coach. Don't come to me with questions. If you've got questions, pretend I don't even know anything about this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just too difficult.
No,
and it's not fair on Ed either.
No, and I think it's because Ed's got the view of what he's setting me, which direction he's going towards with me.
Yeah.
And he knew the goals because every week we spoke about what's the next goal. And it was not necessarily I go and tell you my next goal.
Yeah.
So like you weren't aware, probably. You were aware, but like I didn't tell you every single bit I'm doing, like next bit. I just remember you going away for 3 weeks when you went to America and you came back, you're like, oh, you look like you've lost some weight in you. But then that was the beginning of the phase. Mm.
I mean, one thing Ed said to me was like, how did you find keeping sibling relationship as opposed to going into coach mode? For me, going into coach mode. And to be honest, because I told him from the start I don't want to get involved, that reduces decision fatigue for me and stress, right? I don't want to deal with the stress of you. So, and I knew that we'd just fall out if we did it. So I actually never felt the need to go into coach mode. I just felt like I'm just going to leave Ed to it. Like I trust him. He'll let him coach with you and deal with you.
Ed was very, very supportive. It was so easy to, I think, I got on with Ed really well.
Yeah.
And it made it so much easier, the whole process, more than anything. If, I was able to tell him anything, could just have a rant if I needed to rant. And I just remember whenever I saw you, you obviously had your look at what I'm eating, And then you just looked away, but you didn't say anything sometimes.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay. Yeah, but then sometimes you're like, oh, your food looks nice. I was like, yeah, and it's my food. Don't touch it.
Did you feel any pressure to succeed?
I didn't want to let you down, obviously. And I think because you watched me through the process. You weren't necessarily like... it wasn't, no one was doing it with me as such at home. So it was me doing it. And I think I wanted to achieve the goal because it's the first time I've been like, okay, I want to put my mind to something. Let me see if I can do it. And there's times when I put my mind to something and I've just been like, okay, it's not work, so let me just give up type thing.
Yeah.
And I think I did that a lot back in the past. Like, I did that quite a lot where I thought of something, I wanted to do it, and then I just didn't. It didn't work out, so I just left it.
Yeah.
So like Bharatanatyam. So Bharatanatyam's a classical Indian dance, if anyone didn't know what that was. And I remember doing that and giving up. And now I regret it a lot because it's one of those things where I was just like, it could have improved my flexibility a lot more.
Yeah.
But, and I said to myself when I started this journey, I'm going to do it. And I remember because I was going through the phase, even though I found it challenging, I remember you coming up to me going, why don't you consider doing a shoot? And I was like, maybe having a goal in head would be really good. So because initially my goal was to lose some weight and do it for 12 weeks. And then now it's just...
Now it's a journey.
And it's been 27 weeks now.
Oh, wow.
I'm coming up to my 27th week.
Definitely the 12-week plan, that is.
No, yeah, that was just not what I expected, to be honest. I didn't expect to, at the beginning, I never expected to do a photo shoot. That was not on the agenda until you mentioned it and I had a thought about it. I was like, okay, why not? And you said, do it, 19 weeks.
Amazing.
I remember 19 weeks and that was it.
So we had quite a few listener questions for you.
Oh my God.
So I picked some of the ones I think would be really interesting. Some of them are actually quite cool and be good for the female listeners here. So the first one I want to kick it off on, and I think this is actually, you got a good story around this actually, so it'd be very, very valuable, is what are your tips for cravings around the menstrual cycle, and did weight loss have any impact on this?
So for someone like me who had really bad menstrual pains, and my menstrual cycle used to be regular, like all the time. I used to get it like clockwork, but I couldn't deal with the pain. And it was 3 days I used to throw up for. I used to vomit.
Wow, really?
I used to vomit for 3 days. I used to be out of energy, just completely, and I was sitting on the sofa, doing nothing. And unless I was at university, that's when it kicked off a lot more. And I think stress impacted that a lot more. And I remember saying, okay, I've had enough now. I don't know what to do with this. And I was someone with really bad acne as well.
Yeah.
Spots on my face, marks, everything. And I remember going to the doctors and they would go to me, here, go on the pill. And I was like, but why? And they said, because this is going to help your pain as well as your acne. And I went on it and everything. Did it for about 2 years. I had no pain and everything, but I knew it wasn't good for my body.
Yeah.
Because when I had my kidney stones episode, they said, you've got to come off it because you're on antibiotics. They're not going to work. So I came off it 2 years ago now. And I remember my periods being so irregular and pain came back almost. So it didn't feel like they helped at all. They just
Now you're in a worse position.
I was in a worse position back then. I think sometimes I wonder whether those pills are the reason I got those kidney stones.
Yeah.
It made me think about it. I came off the pill and for about a year I had irregular periods. And then tune into September 2019 when I started my journey, and periods were still weird. Like, periods didn't come on time and everything until November, December. But what I realised is I was able to deal with stress a lot more better being at work, but my pains went.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this is weird. Like, I've never had this. Like, my pains went, I didn't get any PMS either. And I was like wondering, hang on, like, am I supposed to start my period or what? But it started coming like clockwork back. And now, coming to here now, to this date, I get it every 4 weeks, exact almost.
Oh, so you're on regular and no pain?
Regular, no pain, and I don't come out, let's not tempt fate now, but my breakout stopped as well. I used to come out with really red skin when I was on. I used to look like, a tomato on my face. And my skin just drastically improved from September till now. And it's still going. Like, I come out rarely with breakouts now. And also with my periods, it's regular. And in terms of cravings, I used to love, like, bit of, like, chocolate. I used to use that as an excuse to have chocolate more than anything. A lot more than normal.
I was going to say a bit.
A bit, yeah, no. Going through, like little bars of chocolate. And I remember you saying to me, like, don't use this as an excuse to just eat whatever you want to eat. And I think it's because they say, like, 21 days to get a habit, almost.
Yeah, it's loads of different numbers.
Loads of different numbers. And I remember my craving stopped because I started this journey after my cycle, and I remember getting it 1 month into it.
Okay.
And I didn't feel the need for cravings because I got doses of... I found, like, blueberries as my sweet taste.
Yeah.
I didn't have fruit back then either, but only blueberries, and I used to use that as
your dessert though was like a dessert. Your breakfast. Your breakfast was like a dessert.
Breakfast was like my dessert, and I used to love it. That's one meal, like, I used to, like, just really savor. And then I thought, oh, let me add peanut butter into it now.
Yeah.
And I remember adding peanut butter, and we found that Manny Life towards the end.
It's a game changer.
Game changer. That you can, like, if I wasn't on this, I'd be eating it out of the tube. I'll be eating out of the tub by now. I used to mix that up and add ginger, and I used to just change it up a little bit. And I found that as my craving buster.
Yeah.
Having some of the different meals in my diet that used to be craving busters.
Yeah, some of those, that can be really good for women out there who get more cravings, sweet cravings around menstrual cycle. It's just finding these little hacks in your food to really make it a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, I think cravings was one big thing because I used to just eat. I used to eat a lot more, but then not eat anything at all during my period. I used to not want to eat. And then now it's like, it's just normal. Yeah. It just feels like a normal week to me now. And the fact I never used to exercise during my period. Remember that the old Ma used to say, oh no, don't exercise during your period, it's not good, and all that. Yeah. It's all those old wives' tales. And I remember doing it because it hit that I had to get my training in, my resistance training. I was like, I had to tick it off. And the only way I could tick it off is I had to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And if I was on, I was on. If I wasn't, I was lucky to just get away with it.
Just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Next question from the listeners. What was your favourite, we might have already answered it, but what was your favourite meal when dieting?
Blueberries, yoghurt, and I used to add my protein powder into there. So it used to be a complete dessert.
So vanilla ice cream, protein powder?
Vanilla ice cream, protein powder, or caramel toffee, fudge. And then I used to add my Greek yogurt into it. And then I used to... So this was probably a game changer for you as well, when you found out about frozen blueberries.
Oh, yeah, you got me onto that, actually. Yeah, I'm still using them every day.
Frozen blueberries, because I was like getting a pack and measuring it out. Frozen blueberries were so much easier. Then I used to warm them up in the microwave or on the stove.
Oh, that's so nice.
And they used to, all the juice from the blueberries used to come out. And do you know, like, I used to love Muller yogurt back in the day, where we used to mix them. Do you remember we used to have it every day in the evening? We used to mix the fruit to the with the yogurt, and then because I started making it the night before just to give myself more time in the morning. It started tasting like Muller yogurt, and I said to Dad, I was like, Dad, you have to do this the night before. It tastes like Muller yogurt. Because we used to, all three of us used to sit on the sofa and eat it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And tip it over.
Well, I would actually say your best meal was the that soy sauce chicken you do.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good. Like, I was getting you to cook my chicken in the end because it was so good.
But you know,
I think you were cooking everyone's chicken.
I think I was cooking everyone's chicken in the house by the end of it. And I think one evening on a Saturday, I remember I was really feeling really hungry. This was just before my shoot, a week before shoot.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need to entertain myself. I was like, do you want me to make your chicken? Or do you want me to cut your veggies or something like that? And this is like weird. Like, you know, you
I was like,
love
what?
it. You're just like, what are you talking about? And I remember going, no, I'll cut it for you. I'm bored. Like, I'm hungry and I'm just tired. I need to do something to just stretch out the time.
Yeah.
And I remember you had that chicken. You're like, oh, this is actually really nice. You're like, what did he put in it? And I said,
what was it?
Soy sauce. Then I used to add peri-peri into it. A little bit of Nando's sauce into it.
Oh, it was a game changer. So nice, so succulent,
And what else did I add in? And then some of that, like the powder, the curry powder, tandoori powder, and that was it. And then mix it up. You probably know, like with Akash, he loves his turmeric, ginger.
Yeah.
Throws it in, especially with this coronavirus thing going on as well now. But it was literally the game changer for the winter because of the immune system. We used to just add ginger, garlic, turmeric in our chicken as well. And I used to mix that up and pour it on. And he used to just make me make it for him every day after. And then I'd wonder what I let myself into.
Yeah, you should never have offered it that day. Next question. How are you embracing the building phase right now?
Oh, I'm absolutely loving it. And I think it's getting that first chin up.
Yeah, you're almost there.
I'm almost there, getting to the top.
You literally, I thought you said you had it, and then you sent me the video. You just missing the chin over the bar.
Just a little bit. And I remember, like I just wanted to do it right at the beginning, that when I'm not tired either. But then I was like, no, let me do it midway, and let me do it when I'm tired, that I can actually prove like whether I can get up. And you're like, you've just got a little bit left. And Ed's changed it up a little bit now. He goes, now you've got to hold it. They keep holding it up for 30 seconds. And even if you get up slightly, you can keep practicing that as well.
Yeah.
He goes, if you hold it for 3 sets for 30 seconds up there, you'll get there gradually. And he goes, the thing is, with building muscle, it's not a overnight change either. It takes a lot of time to do it, but you've got to stick to the eating as well.
Absolutely. So you're embracing it then? Yeah.
Embracing it. Still sticking to the principles of everything. And I remember Ed calling me, the buffering queen. Because now I go out, when I go to social events, and sometimes like if I don't get a chance to message him, I would be like, okay, I had this like on Saturday when I had the chicken, and he goes, yeah, spot on, like, you know. I think now I've picked up the hacks of like what could roughly eat.
Yeah, I don't think you're buffering now. You're just kind of doing it in lifestyle.
I think I just changed it into a lifestyle. I don't even buffer anymore. I used to buffer obviously during the fat loss phase, but now it's normal. But I just don't think I add my snacks in. I just have my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's it.
Cool. Next question. This is a good one. I can think of one in my head. What's one exercise you can beat me on?
That cardio we did.
What cardio?
That walk on Christmas Day.
You hurt your ankle on it?
Yeah, but I still managed to do it.
No, but what can you beat me on?
Oh. What can I beat you on?
Well, I was going to say the bridge bridge pose.
The bridge pose and the ball. You know, the one me and that's called the candlestick pose now.
Which one's that?
The one I do at the gym, roll myself completely back.
Yeah.
I think the bridge pose is the one that, because I asked you, can you do it? You're like, yeah. And I remember you going on the floor, you're like, no, I've just eat. You just used to say, I've just eaten.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like, you know, I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't do it, can you?
No. Definitely, you're definitely more flexible and more mobile.
Yeah. Bridge pose and...
Your bridge poses are pretty solid.
Even the one that, I can't remember what it's called, but it probably the one where my feet, I'm sitting up as I'm pull my whole body back. hero pose.
Okay.
If you the yoga, the people who like yoga, hero pose, and I can literally pull myself all the way back for that one.
Brilliant.
Now my next step for the bridge pose is doing it from the top. So you're standing and you you have to get into the bridge pose from standing position. So that's what I'm working on now.
Oh, really? That's pretty advanced, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried the one-arm bridge pose yet?
Yes, I can do that.
Yeah.
One arm up. But remember I used to do that in corporate. Remember we used to sit and I used to do some dancing.
Yeah.
And you used to play FIFA.
Yeah.
And then I used to go backwards.
The bridge pose, yeah. Okay, next question. Don't want to get too soppy here, but what's it like having me as a big brother?
I think I wrote it in a Christmas card, didn't I? When I left you those dark chocolates under the tree.
Yeah, she gave me some customised homemade dark chocolates. Well, she didn't make them herself.
I didn't make them, no.
As in they were made very locally. It was absolutely game-changing.
And I left it under the tree and he didn't know anything about it. And I remember leaving a card as well in the thing. I said, oh, Akash, this came for you. Not saying it's from me. And I remember saying, it's like having Akash is like having a best friend. And I think he's like my best friend, I think I could say. And I think we became much closer after you went to uni and came back, because we used to talk a lot more when you were at uni. Because when we're at home, we're doing our own things. And I think I became much closer to you when you started, after university, in fact. And I think having you as a big brother, I think guidance has been, because you've gone through, in terms of career-wise, you're doing things, like you've done your step in career and you're like, oh no, maybe try this. And I remember starting up tuition and you were like, do it this way. And now we're like thinking of next steps for that as well.
Yeah.
And I think having Akash there is just so like, I can go and speak to him about anything and I feel like...
Well, let's not get too soppy here now.
Yeah. Let's not
don't want to keep blowing... Don't blow my own trumpet out. On a lighter note, this is one question I think I'll ask multiple times. Everyone wants to know, how did Lulu come about?
Oh, Lulu. I remember watching Harry Enfield.
It'd be interesting to know what your actually, before we go into your answer, I want to know what your answer is, because my answer might be different to yours. But go on.
No, I think it's because of when we...
Go on, you say Harry Enfield.
Harry Enfield, I remember watching it when Annie showed it to me, the clip, and it used to be the big brother used to do something wrong and then shift the blame on the younger sister when she didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And he used to be like, oh, Lulu did it. And I remember just saying, oh, that happens quite often at home. I don't do, he does something wrong and then he looks at me and then says, I've done it. And then I remember just calling her. I just remember once something happened, I can't remember what, and then I went, oh, Lulu did it. Even though Lulu was a girl's name in the thing. I just remember saying to Mum, oh, Lulu did it. And she was like, what? Where's this name come from? Because we used to have a lot of names,
we had loads of names.
We had loads of names for each other. Like,
it's funny, mine's different then. Mine's come from Mario Kart.
Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, because we were hooked on Mario Kart when we were younger, right?
Yeah.
When we were in our teens, we used to play Mario Kart all the time. And I used to always choose Luigi.
Yeah.
Or used to be obsessed with Luigi.
Yeah.
So then I called you Louis. And then it went to Lulu from that. Yeah. That's how I got my
And
Lulu.
I think maybe your Lulu was from Mario Kart.
I think it was, because I don't think I really watched Harry Enfield.
No, I watched Harry Enfield and I remember watching it. And then I used to be like, that happens to me. Like, throw something and then goes, oh, you did it.
Yeah.
type thing.
Well, there's your answer.
And now when some of you might even ask, some of you have asked, like, what happens when Mum calls us or Dad calls us, like, who's in trouble type thing. But I think it's never been the case. Like, I don't think they call us that. Unless they're like, oh, do you want to call Lulu? And then it's like, we shout at each other. They're like, Lulu. And then Akash goes, Lulu. So we call each other Lulu. And then it's just like, Why do you have the same names? It's
Yeah,
just like
when
normal.
Roshni writes cards to me, there's like, Dear Lulu from Lulu.
Even it's everything. Even your name on my phone is Lulu.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's Irma Lulu. Remember I used to call you Irma?
There's another name. And one more question here. The big debate. Maybe we have to bring the parents on to decide this. Who's the favourite child?
I still think it's you.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say the opposite, but...
Why do you think it's me?
I don't know, but I guess everyone's always gonna think the opposite, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have to ask
We'll
Mum
have
and
to
Dad
ask Mum and Dad in the next one.
on the next one. Maybe I'll bring them on for episode 150. I think we have to bring Bauer on as well to do a special feature.
Yeah.
That's gonna
About
be
how we're gonna get her onto the treadmill next.
Yeah. She's got a bike and she's transforming from the bike, and we've got her home treadmill now too.
So we've now got a treadmill, which is amazing timing with all this lockdown going on, and I think I'm gonna get Bao onto it this weekend.
Perfect. I spoke to her the other day and she said she hasn't gone on it yet. So
No. Yeah, so we're going to get her onto it, and maybe you'll see a video soon.
Yeah, doing sprints up the incline on the treadmill.
Can I imagine her on that? That would be quite funny.
Cool. So final thing, how has R&T transformed your life?
I can say confidence, major confidence building, decision fatigue gone completely. Like, even when I go to restaurants, it's so much easier to choose now. And I think making life decisions as well. You know, doing things I thought I wouldn't be able to do. Making decisions, like wanting to even travel abroad. It's just like wanting to explore different avenues as well now. But I think this RNT journey wasn't easy either. It was one of those I had to learn to do things, cooking for myself, doing it. Because I remember Mum saying to me, you realise I'm not going to cook your meals for you because I've got to cook all three of ours and then yours as well. And then she goes, you've got to learn to do it. Me, I used to just eat whatever. And I think the support I got made it much more easier for me. And I think that support from you, Ba, Mum and Dad was just, you wouldn't ask for it. Like, it's so valuable to me.
Yeah.
That I think I would have not done that journey if I didn't get that support, I think. I think I would have just given up and I would have been going on my walks regularly and crying on my walks, I think, more than anything. So I think RNT's just changed me as a person, I think. Anger as well. I get less angry as well now.
Yeah, 100%. I don't get shouted at as much. And
Vice
what would you
versa.
say to anyone who's on their journey right now at any stage, whether it's early doors or 2 years in?
I would say trust your coach more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, I trust Ed. He knows what he's doing, and I trust him with the rest of my journey. And I think even Ed was another one that I don't think I could have done the journey without.
Of course.
Big
shout out to Ed here.
Yeah, Ed, amazing. Dealing with you did get it. I think he got the end of things as well now.
Yeah.
And I think without Ed as well, he knows like me, like bits that if I know that, okay, how come the steps didn't get done? Couldn't be bothered to get up type thing. And he would know that. He would just be like, let's try getting it this time. And he will just be there as, it's not even that, like, if you don't do something and if you tell your coach, it's not like they're having a go at you. They're doing it because they know you can do it, but you're just you're just being, for me, at some cases I was being lazy at times when I didn't do it.
One question I'm curious though, just before we finish. I've been doing this for 10 years now. Yeah, this year marks 10 years for me.
10 years.
Why did it take you 9.5 years before you spoke to me about this? Obviously, 9.5 years ago, probably too young, but in the last 5 years.
Let's say 5 years, isn't it? Since
Why
I've
has
been
it
here.
taken you so long? Out of interest. Just curious.
I love my food. I like my food, isn't it?
No, everyone says that,
But,
right? We all
not
love
even that.
our food.
But I think I don't know, I just think I started to see people actually doing it that I'm like, hang on, I know it's not easy, but I think I can do it. But then I see first-hand experience of you doing it. Like I've seen more, like your bodybuilding competitions, and I was like, oh, I don't want to get to that extreme either. Like, you know, I don't want to be grumpy like you. Yeah. I remember when you used to get grumpy and I used to be like, wow, let's just avoid you completely. Let's not talk to you. And I remember one year, one summer we just avoided talking to you.
What, 2017?
Yeah, we just avoided to talk to you. But I think we joined you like towards, I remember I was getting ready for my graduation as well. Yeah. And I was trying to fit into the graduation dress as well. And I think it was just seeing firsthand that you eat the same things every day. Why can't I do it type thing?
Well, that picture from graduation is probably one of the most...
Oh, God, yes.
It's one of my worst pictures I've ever taken. I think I was 10 days out. Yeah, 10 days out from my show in 2017. And it was a graduation. Firstly, the suit was hanging off me. It was so baggy. And secondly, like, I looked so gaunt. I was wrinkly.
Did you feel like an old man?
I looked like 50 in that picture. Yeah, it's a horrible picture. Maybe we have to use that picture for this podcast.
Or maybe. I think maybe that picture of us two, that's on my story. That's on my...
Yeah, I don't know why you put that there. It's horrible.
I think because I look nice.
Yeah, you look nice, but I look like a mess. Yeah, that was a rough diet, that one, 2017.
Just, we used to just, like, if we spoke to him, we just didn't know whether we were going to get snapped out or not.
I think because I was like so deep in the... It was the first time I ever got that lean. I was in like new territory completely.
Yeah.
Plus I just started R&T. So like I had two massive things going on. And I just, any little thing I just snap, right? I've learned from that.
Like with RNT, I would definitely, you know, if anyone if it's just to get your like more structure in your life, I think that's the best thing I've done, getting structure in my life. Now it's just a norm, getting up early.
That's why the physical is the vehicle.
Yes.
Oh,
what, the physical is the vehicle.
Amazing.
And I feel like full of energy now, even though, because actually one thing to add on, back last year or 2 years ago when I used to go to the gym at 5:30 with mum.
Yeah.
Or because we used to take turns.
Yeah.
And I used to go twice a week, I think, back then.
Yeah.
I used to come back and want to knock out by 7 o'clock. I was just so tired. But now, what time is it? 7 o'clock?
Yeah.
And because I went this morning, I could go to sleep every day the same time, regardless of whether I went to the gym or not. And I think that's a big change I've seen, energy-wise, sleeping patterns. I sleep better, I think, now as well.
Transformation in all senses.
Yes.
Amazing. Thanks for coming on.
And as your sister.
What was that?
And as your sister. Transformed as your sister. Don't get angry at you that much.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely made my life a little bit easier. Thanks for coming on, Roshni. Or should I say Lulu?
Thank you, Lulu.
Thank you so much for being here today on this episode of R&T Fitness Radio. I'd love for you to do a quick little favor for us. Please head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, and share it with your family and friends. If you're interested in learning more about how to transform your body and positively change your life, go to www.rntfitness.com and explore all our free content on offer. Thank you.